Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the statement by the Senator Osotsi on the issue of decassettlement. Mr. Speaker, if you listen to all the members who spoke to this particular statement, it's like this is a challenge that is arising in almost every county. In fact, all the members who spoke to this statement have very specific issues and concerns in their counties. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to agree with the other members who say that I think there is need for the committee to look at this more holistically. I heard Honorable Onyonga requesting the majority leader to speak to the president about this issue. I think that is not the way to go. Mr. Speaker, the procedure normally is that these are matters that this House can take up, and in our counties, and they go to the ministries, the ministry in charge, then they do what we normally call the cabinet memoranda, then the cabinet approves, then it now comes to the House for adoption or for approval. So I want to agree, in Baringo, for example, Mr. Speaker, we have several schools and institutions which are actually built in those areas that are considered as forest areas. But practically speaking, Chair or Speaker, those are several acres of land, you know, in schools, in colleges, and so on. And that yet when you go to the Ministry of Forestry, you discover they are actually gazetted forest areas. I think it is important that we really decassette these areas and be able to issue titles to these institutions. I think it is a critical issue which we need to do. So that, Mr. Speaker, some schools, for example, or colleges, occupy those areas. They have no title deeds. And all the time they receive threats from the Ministry of Forest and with the rangers and so on. It is high time, I think, we need, so that even when we talk about now building, putting up or planting 15 billion trees, we should be able to do so even in those schools, but not as gazetted areas or as gazetted forest. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is important. Then the other aspect, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, is there are areas which are not gazetted, which have been degazetted, given to institutions, and the original owners of those particular lands, Mr. Speaker, are not actually compensated. And the understanding between the government then and the occupants of those areas is to be given land elsewhere. And Mr. Speaker, those days it was interesting because you find a politician from a certain area given a list of people to be allocated land. And that MP or minister takes the whole portion of land given to those people. So I think, again, those people who had been promised to be given, to be compensated and given allocation of land, they are now all over the place suffering in their homes and so on. The so-called right holders, Mr. Speaker. In a place like Baringo North, in Baringo County, Simo location, a lot of fellows were displaced. So I think I want to agree that there is need for the committee to, and I think I'm a member of this committee, Mr. Speaker, and we are going to really do a lot in terms of ensuring that we don't only look at Otosi's situation, but also what's happening in the country, so that we bring an end to the suffering of people and institutions without title deeds for their institutions. So I support, Mr. Speaker.